Hi, I'm Leah.
And I'm Steve, and we're the host of a new podcast called Remnant Stew.
Yes, we release an episode every other week that features weird, bizarre, and intriguing true stories.
That's right. We track down and bring to you some of the weirdest stories and trivia, like the shrimp that spits out a glowing loogie, or the turtle that survived being locked up in a room and forgotten for 30 years.
Or the time a shark on display in an aquarium puked up a human arm that sparked off the murder investigation that remains unsolved to this day.
Yuck.
Which reminds me of another story about strange vomit that is sometimes actually considered to be a delicacy.
That is a great story. Or that time when a sheep, a duck, and a rooster, I know that sounds like the beginning of a joke, but this time was a real story that they took the very first balloon ride. Or another time when two Parisians, who were both in love with the same woman, they fought a duel from hot air balloons. That's a good story.
Oh my.
Or the fact that the only Americans in the continental United States who were killed during World War II by an enemy attack were members of an Oregon Sunday school class.
One of my favorite stories that we feature is when some high school boys wanted to meet their favorite band so much that they impersonated the opening act and actually got away with it.
There's a dream come true right there.
I also got a kick out of the fact that there was a full-fledged riot in South Carolina in order to get the local pharmacist to release the mermaid he was supposedly holding captive.
That's interesting right there. I love the story of Mr. Alfred Harris, who was one of the many hundreds of brave British citizens who risked their lives in order to save their army off the beaches of Dunkirk.
Yes.
You know, Leah, you might say that you and I are sort of like the modern-day Robert Ripley. You remember him back in the 1930s and 40s? He went to extensive efforts to find interesting people and facts to present to people in his newspaper columns, in his books, his movies, his radio broadcasts. In fact, we're currently working on an episode that will be about Robert Ripley himself, and you can believe it.
Absolutely. So if you need a break from the news and want something to satisfy a curious mind, then tune in to Remnant Stew. It's available on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcast, or any of your favorite podcast platforms.
We hope you'll tune in and join the adventure. And in the meantime, as always, please remember to be kind and always stay curious.